You think you're so special, don't you? You've got your bone scaffolding, your delicate skin suit, your smug sense of self. You're a monument of complexity. But let me tell you, you're just a glorified, highly moisturized clump of slightly less awful slime. And your entire existence, your birth, your brain, your dreadful little tax return, it all comes down to a few shifty, suspicious, ancient bags of goo who decided, one day, they were tired of being lonely. I'm talking about the Cnidarians, the jellyfish, the anemones, the corals, your true family, and they are furious about what you became. The original sin. How cells decided to stop social distancing. Let's rewind. Forget the dinosaurs, forget the trilobites. We're going back to the Ediacaran biota, when life was just squishy. Before that, everything was a protist, just a self-absorbed little blob swimming around, trying its best to clone itself before being violently ingested. And the whole game, for billions of years, was cellular autonomy. Be your own boss, no teamwork, ever. Then came the cooperation virus. One day, a few of these single-celled organisms, maybe a group of coenoflagellates which, fun fact, look exactly like a sperm cell, decided to wear a ridiculous little skirt. They decided, hey, this being alone thing is exhausting. What if we clumped? This is the most terrifying moment in all of evolution. It's not the meteor strike. It's the moment the solo artists decided to form a band. It's the birth of multicellularity. And it's why you're stuck reading this nonsense, instead of peacefully photosynthesizing. And what do you get when you start clumping? You get a sponge. Oh, the sponge. Horrifying, the original architect of our misery. It's a sack of cells that are barely talking to each other. They don't have true tissues yet. It's an apartment building where the tenants just sort of filter feed their rent to the central landlord. The scientific revelation here, the one that should make your skin crawl, is that sponges are a paraphyletic group to everything else. This means that while some of them are your direct cousins, others branched off before all the other animals, the Eumetazoa, ever existed. They're the estranged, quiet relative who shows up at the family reunion just to remind you how simple things used to be. They're proof you never needed a brain, just a series of porous holes and a commitment to not moving. Speaking of things that stick around when they shouldn't, if the idea of being related to a porous, sedentary bag of barely communicating cells offends your delicate sensibilities, you should probably subscribe right now. Don't let the horror of your lineage simply wash away. Click the button. Join us in the evolutionary fever dream. The big flip, radial symmetry, and the terror of the Cnidarians. But the sponges were too basic, too chill. Evolution, like a drunk interior decorator, demands more flair. So we get to the Cnidarians, the jellyfish, the sea anemones, the corals, your true, beautiful, terrifying ancient family. And they brought the first real, undeniable architectural upgrade. Symmetry. Forget your two-sided, left and right. Look in the mirror symmetry. That's for advanced chumps. Cnidarians pioneered radial symmetry. Think of a pie, or a cosmic horror with too many tentacles. You cut it any way through the center, and you get two equal halves. The evolutionary advantage? It's perfect for a sessile or drifting lifestyle. You can sense threats, catch prey, and generally feel menaced from 360 degrees simultaneously. It's a design of pure, primordial paranoia. And here's the cold, damp scientific truth wrapped in a nightmare. Cnidarians only have two true germ layers. They are diploblastic. You, a sophisticated freak with your 3 layers triploblastic. You've got endoderm, ectoderm, and the delightful mesoderm in the middle, which gives you all your cool stuff like muscles and blood. The Cnidarians, they have endoderm and ectoderm, and everything in between is just a non-living, gelatinous layer called the mesoglea. The mesoglea, think of it as ancestral snot. It provides buoyancy and flexibility. It is literally the reason jellyfish are 95% water and can just vibrate their way through existence, needing no skeleton, no bones, just that pulsating, empty heart. It's an evolutionary cheat code. Be mostly water and let physics do the work. They figured out the ultimate trade-off, sacrificing complexity for pure, hydrodynamic efficiency, and they did it before you even figured out how to grow a proper appendix. They exist in a state of perfectly balanced, two-layered horror, the stinging nightmare and the power of the polyp. You think of a jellyfish as a floaty bell of panic, right? But the Cnidarian life cycle is an envious strip of madness. They often flip between two forms: the free-swimming, tentacled medusa, the jellyfish we know, and the sedentary, plant-like polyp like an anemone or coral. This flipping, the alternation of generations, is an astonishing evolutionary strategy. The polyp anchors itself, reproduces asexually by budding, cloning itself endlessly, like a bureaucratic nightmare, and it's a factory for new life. Then, it can bud off little medusae that swim away to reproduce sexually, mixing the genes and creating variety. It's like having an immortal, non-moving twin who just sits at home making babies you can then launch into the ocean. It maximizes survival. When conditions are good, clone like crazy polyp. When you need dispersal and genetic diversity, sex it up and swim away medusa. But the true terror, the dark fun fact that keeps evolutionary biologists up at night, is the cnidocyte, the stinging cell. It's arguably the most complex cell in the entire animal kingdom. It's not just a sting, it's a harpoon system. The cell contains an inverted, coiled, pressurized tubule called a nematocyst. When triggered by chemical or mechanical stimuli, the cell increases its osmotic pressure and violently everts the tubule, spearing and injecting venom into the prey at accelerations that are among the fastest biological processes known. We're talking 5 million Gs of acceleration. It's a single-use, biological micro-rocket launcher. The Cnidarians decided, we'll be simple, we'll be water, but by God, we will have a weapon system that can punch a hole in you faster than you can register pain. And they've been doing this perfectly for over 600 million years. They are simple, but they are lethal. Still here, I've just told you that your family tree includes immortal, cloning, weaponized snot sacks, and you're still watching. That either means you're just as unhinged as the rest of us, or you're terrified of what happens if you look away. Either way, you're trapped. You might as well give in to the evolutionary compulsion and hit that subscribe button. It's the only way to prove you've got the higher processing power to click a button. Unlike your jellyfish great uncle, don't fight the current. The coral conspiracy, mass production, and ecological tyranny. And then, just when you thought the Cnidarian family couldn't get more insidious, we hit the corals, the builders, the silent majority. They are essentially polyp colonies that have learned the evolutionary power of infrastructure. They take their soft, gelatinous bodies and start secreting a hard shell of calcium carbonate, building vast, sprawling underwater cities known as reefs. The fact is, a coral reef is not a benevolent structure. It's an evolutionary fortress built by a single animal, the coral polyp, which is a tiny, delicate cousin of the sea anemone. And the revelation here is the scale of their ecological impact. Coral reefs, while covering less than 0.1% of the ocean floor, support over 25% of all marine life. This makes them ecosystem engineers of the highest order. They don't just live in an ecosystem, they create one. They also solve the problem of food scarcity and nutrient-poor tropical waters through another act of cellular collaboration, symbiosis. They host microscopic algae called zooxanthella within their tissues. These algae, through photosynthesis, provide the coral with up to 90% of its energy needs. It's a dark bargain. The coral provides a safe, sunlit home. The algae provide an endless supply of free sugar. It's a perfect, cold, capitalistic, biological arrangement, turning the vast, empty ocean into a high-density, high-output production zone, all orchestrated by tiny, multi-cloning, two-layered, stinging polyps. And that, my friends, is how the jellyfish cousins set the stage for you. They showed life how to clump, how to build, how to specialize, and how to weaponize simplicity. They are the terrifying, enduring foundation upon which your messy, overcomplicated, three-layered life is precariously built. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget the slime. You looked into the mesoglial abyss of your origins, didn't flinch, and saw the truth. You are merely a fancy iteration of ancient, venomous goo. If that doesn't compel you to understand the next chapter in this terrifying, beautiful chaos, nothing will. Subscribe now, or risk being downgraded back to a simple, stinging, radially symmetrical existence.